down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hello. You may recognize my voice, but that's okay. This is our very first Advanced Investor Alliance podcast. I'm excited. I'm with another host, actually a co-host, because I'm a co-host, Zach Lorenzen. What's up, my friend?
How's it going, everyone?
Well, today's episode is our very first episode, so we're a little gun-shy, nervous. I don't know what to say. We're dealing with a little illnesses. Can you hear that in my voice? It's a little off, but that's okay, because we're going to have a good time. Our goal today is to kind of introduce you to what's ahead, what's coming ahead at the Advanced Investor Alliance podcast. That's right, AIA, Advanced Investor Alliance podcast, all the great, wonderful things that we have lined out. What do you think about that, Zach?
Excited.
Yeah, it's excited. You know, Zach, have you ever done a podcast before?
Never.
Oh,
First
really?
time.
Oh, okay. I would never know. But see, that's the goal. That's what commercial real estate is like. You don't just come out of the womb doing it. You know, a lot of people buy single family houses. You know, their parents has bought a single family house, but you know, it's a process. You've never done it before. You've never bought a commercial real estate property before. How do you learn that? Well, that's what this podcast is all about, commercial real estate. And a little side entrepreneurism, business ownership, and making money. What do you think of that?
Always good.
All right. So the big question today is, why another podcast? There's 1,001 podcasts, maybe even more, maybe 100,000. And what makes Advanced Investor Alliance so special? Well, it's special because you're going to have the most amazing, incredible people on this podcast. Wow, you really just said that out loud? I sure did. You know why? Because it's coming. So before we dive into all the great, wonderful things of what's going on in the future, let's dial back a little bit. And how did we get here? There's several people that are involved in Advanced Investor Alliance. That could be you. There's a whole team of people. And the core people, the people that really actually put the money down to pay for this equipment, pay for this space on the internet, to have this host and the place where we're having our monthly meetings, the folks that paid for the website and all that jazz. There's a core group of people that really believe in the vision and why we're doing this and what is this all about. I'm going to talk about those people first. I think that's important, that you need to know and be aware of what you're about to get into. And then we're going to go into how did this all happen and why are we doing a podcast? And then we're going to go into what's really going to happen on the podcast. So let's start off with this way. Number one, my name is VanCauwenbergh. You may know me as the Savvy Landlord. That's right. Man, I'm tired of that damn name. I'm just going to be upfront honest with you. Landlord is negative, and I'm not a negative person. I'm a positive person. Maybe because I have 500-something units. It just makes life a little bit more positive. But the reality is I spent 23 years in single family. 23 years in real estate, probably I still have single family. But my main focus for about 15 years has been single family, and I'm burned out, tired of it. And roughly around 3.5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I truly just said, F this, and went completely commercial real estate. Now, every once in a while, and during that time, I don't know if it was 2017, 2018, because it's 2023 right now. So 7 years ago would be about 2015. So that was the end of the money-making bubble burst. And I just made a conscious decision to just be full-time commercial. And so since then, I have acquired a few assets. We'll get into those. And I only tell you the 500 units just to be funny, not to tell you that I'm better than you. But I hope that you would never buy single family and you'd only buy commercial. And that's a lot of the content that we're going to talk about in the next few weeks, years, and to come. So that's me. I'm Steve VanCauwenbergh. I have a little podcast experience. I have started a podcast 2015. So we're at 8 years ago. The Savvy Radio Show. You may listen to that. You may even hear this podcast on there. Hey, kill two birds with one stone. And that's me, and that's my voice. So I'm going to introduce, and these other folks that I'm going to introduce you to, and I'm going to save Zach for last, since he's a little nervous his first time. He's going to come up with his own swagger here in a minute. But I'm going to come up with the people behind the scenes, and you're going to meet them in the years to come. Joking. In the days to come, weeks to come, and months to come. Every single person I'm about to mention is going to be featured on a podcast at one time or another. They're actually going to host their own podcast through the AIA, so it's going to be pretty exciting. So let's start off with Crystal and Steve Carruthers. These folks, it's really cool. They're in my same market in Oklahoma City, and they have been crushing it in the back when I haven't been paying attention. I've been over here fooling around, working on Savvy Podcasts. They've been buying strip centers, supermarkets, and been super private lender extraordinaires in Moore, Oklahoma. And you wouldn't never even know that they own a supermarket. It's super cool. Crystal runs a commercial meetup group that meets on Mondays. Zach, when is that? You don't know Mondays, like the second Monday of every month?
I think it's the first Monday.
First Monday of every month. Wow, this is my friend. I don't even know. I'm fired. Whatever. No, I'm just being authentic and just telling you why these people are doing this. So Crystal and Steve Carruthers are incredible people that I've met several years ago, maybe almost 10 years ago, even longer. And we've been cheering each other on from a distance. I'm not near their market. I have no interest anything south of I-40 in Oklahoma City. And they've been grinding it out, and they've converted into commercial a while back. And we've just been bumping into each other here and there, random places, random services. And just the other day, we bumped into each other, and it's a really cool story that I did a cost segregation. We're going to have a whole episode on cost segregation, so get ready, because Carruthers is going to bring it. Crystal's going to bring it hard. But Crystal has been doing cost segregation for a lot longer than I have, and I bought a Family Dollar commercial property in Edmond, Oklahoma, roughly about $1.2 million. It's worth about $1.3 to $6 million, and you need to do a cost segregation on there for tax purposes and depreciation and all a bunch of other fun stuff. And I hired a cost segregation professional through a friend of mine who is Russell Hunt, who heard that through Crystal Carruthers. So it's weird that these powerhouse commercial people have been passing this cost segregation guy's name around, and I get it, and I'm the third guy, and it's really cool. And we met up, Russell and I, and Crystal, and we had a wonderful lunch talking about cost segregation. And it's kind of weird how it all meets together. Like-minded people grow together. So I'm truly excited can't wait for the co-host, the real host, Crystal Carruthers, to come on the show and just drop ungodly knowledge. She gives it every month. She does this amazing group, and she's committed to Advanced Investor Alliance. It's her company as well, and she's going to bring it hard. I'm telling you, get this episode is going to be a little rocky. It's going to be a little confusion. I know, because I talk in circles. But hold on, hang on, because when you get Crystal out here, it's going to be fire. I'm talking fire. So then you have Russell Hunt. Russell Hunt has been in real estate roughly about 3 years before me. I know I started in 1999, maybe 1997, 1998, maybe a little bit further. I don't know how old he is, but he started at a really young age. We're talking in his teens, I think 17, 18 when he bought his first deal. He's actually still working with that same banker, but he got up to several hundred units. When I met him, he was and this is about 15 years ago. So I've been in the game 23 years. He's been in it 25, maybe somewhere around there. And when I met him, he was just dispositioning all of his single family, and he went into completely commercial, and that's at least 15 years ago. And he is one of the founding members of Advanced Investor Alliance, AIA, AKA. And he is a master private lender as well, or you can call him a hard money lender, because he's got that dialed in. He charges X amount of points, but he brings so much power. And so we got together and we figured that out. So then I was like, all right, there's some magic going on here. I got this connection through these commercial people. They feel that there needs to be something better that really takes education to the next level. Each one of these people that I'm mentioning are committed to being better educated, being better investors, And that's how that kind of started. So the other person, there's two more, is Michael McClure. He started in 1980s, and you can find all this information. I'm just doing his broad strokes, but if you want to go to advanced, that's with a D, advancedinvestoralliance.com, and you can read these quick bios. I'm not even reading these. I'm just telling you how they mean to me. Well, Michael McClure started in about 1980s. That's right, 1980s. So he's a little bit older than us. And this... I'm going to say, I don't know if it's on his bio, but he has over 1,000 units. And this commercial guy has mentored me. And I love this group that we've started because I feel like I'm the small dude on the totem pole. First of all, I'm impressed that the Carruthers have just leapfrogged way past me, which is amazing. And then you got this guy from 1984 that's been building apartments, has built over thousands of units of apartments, owns 1,000 units today, commercial properties from strip centers, you name it, to nursing homes, assisted livings. And he's like, Stephen, I believe in what your vision is. I love the folks that you picked, which is Carruthers, Zach Lorenzen, and Russell Hunt, and I want to be a part of what you're trying to do, this Advanced Investor Alliance. And I was like, okay. Sure. Hey, we're going to have some upfront costs. I believe in it and I want to meet every month. And I was like, all right, now we're getting to the best, to the very last. I was joking. Zach Lorenzen. So why Zach Lorenzen? This dude, I can't wait to hear his story. We're going to have an interview on him pretty soon, but he's been grinding it out, left his day job and went full force. How many years ago did you do that?
Quit November of 2018.
So very specific, very detailed guy.
Never forget the day.
What was that? What was the weather like?
It was cold out.
November.
It was a week before deer season.
Oh yeah, you remind me of my pastor. I know that's probably not a good compliment. This pastor that I go to church at, Life Church, his dad always spoke in baseball language, meaning, "Hey, we're gonna go hit a home run," or like, "Hey, that deal was a." First base. Every analogy he grew up with his dad constantly using baseball analogies, and that's you. Every time you effing talk, it's like I just killed the deer. So if you're a PETA fan, I'm sorry. Anyway, so Zach, Zach? Well, the reason Zach is that the one thing that really inspired me about Zach is that he does what he says. He committed 100 to this, and he's just 100% in the commercial. And I can go on hours and hours on what he's contributed to this group. His level of commitment and his expertise will inspire you. So our goal of the 5 kind of main founding members are all have gifts and talents that can serve all the members. And we started this thing called Advanced Investor Alliance, and it's an educational group, monthly meetup, investor private group, whatever you want to call it, the elite of the elite, or you want to be elite. That's what this group is. So how did this all start? So Stephen, you just said you got all these people committed to this thing called Investor Alliance. Mm-hmm. And how did it all start? Well, that's where we are finally. That was a very long intro. Well, it started. If you don't know me, again, I'm Savvy, the Savvy Landlord. SavvyInvestors.com is my other entity, and I am an author. I've written several books. Whoopee woo. I speak around the country. Oh, that sounds great. Are you a guru? Hell no, I'm not a guru. But I do find people that think I'm somebody and willing to work with me in some capacity, meaning either partner on deals, borrow, lend money, and also kind of do some coaching. Well, through that process, over the last couple of years, people, I guess, follow me. I don't know why, because I tend to crash and burn and make mistakes and buy the wrong property in a 34,000 square foot property. That's one we need to write down, Zach, where I failed miserably on a strip center that I went to phase 3 on. We'll cover that in an episode. We wanted to know more about commercial real estate. So exactly a year ago, which is really cool, I decided to, do another class that I normally don't do. I'm kind of winding my life down. I'm only winding it up in mountain biking. And I picked some friends and was like, you guys really want to learn commercial real estate? I'm not an expert, but hey, Let's get together. And some amazing things happened in this class. And so I did this several month class. We met every Sunday for about 2 hours, and we met every Wednesday for an hour and had lunch for someone to come in and speak, and from bankers to other commercial individuals, from private lenders, you name it. Russell Hunt was one of the speakers. Michael McClure, a super high profile banker. Several bankers came. And this class was a synergy. There was about 15 of us. How many people were there?
About that.
About 15 of us. And it was dynamic. It was incredible. There was people that only had like 4 or 5 houses in the deal, people that had been in real estate for a long time. And the really great thing during this process, I bought a deal during this process. Another thing, someone else got a multifamily, I think 30 units under contract during this process. And I tried to buy some storage units during this process. And the group of people in my class, now I'm the teacher, the instructor, and they all beat me up. They're like, "You're dumb. You shouldn't do this deal." And I'm like, "You can't even turn around in the damn thing." I'm like, "We hired a perfect, what's that person that we hired?
Some kind of engineer.
An engineer that says, yes, you could turn around a trailer in a 50-foot bus." Well, that's a lie. I need my money back for that. But the point is, through that whole process, this mastermind group or class was huge for everyone in there, and they wanted to keep going. And I was like, "Guys and gals, I can't. I'm tired. I every Sunday is killing me." And so I really, they wanted to keep going, and I was like, "I can't do it alone." And so I decided, and I took a whole year. So from after that class, basically 9 months, we've started building Advanced Investor Alliance, and this is where we're at today. So it started as a dream a year ago, as a random thought to really go to pick some people that really wanted to learn commercial real estate and want to become better. I threw it out there, and the best 10, 12 people around the country joined the class. I had no idea what to expect. And that class turned into the most amazing experience in my life, in my real estate career. And I'm not saying that lightly, like just so you can join our group. It was transformational. I mean, just the aspect of me spending $100,000 of buying this condo storage is about to get railroaded. And I'm going to just tell you, my pride is so big and I need to be cut down. I said no. I said, "I'm going to go buy this thing. I'm going to go buy this thing." And they told me, "No, you're dumb. Don't do it." And one of the main reasons why Zach is here is that he came and rode with me to, it was a final inspection. Sorry, I talked too much. I gotta get some water. It was like one of my final inspections, contractor, developer, la-da-da-da-da. I went out there and, about to fund this deal. And Zach really spanked me. It would be the nice way to say it.
It's basically,
he slapped me around like a little rag doll, and I was like, "Seriously?" And he pointed out things that I could never ever even imagine. And I think we should do a whole podcast on this. I'm actually writing another book. I know I'm killing myself here. This story is in this book and the title of this chapter is about having a second pair of eyes. And I was so emotional, and I believed in this project. I believed in the people in the project, but the project would have blew up in my face, and I would have lost $200,000. So this little class that I taught a year ago and met these awesome people turned out to save me $200,000 because I had to walk away from this deal, which is extremely difficult for me, and it saved me. And Zach, I'm going to go on and on about how awesome you've been impacting my life, and that's why you're a co-host.
Well, thank you.
Get excited, man. Like get into the microphone and say, "Okay." So guys, this is going to be a rough episode. Don't worry. All right. So, and don't worry that my eyes closed because I'm focused, not because I have pink eye.
That's why I'm a little further away.
Okay. Seriously, my kids have pink eye, and my left eye keeps closing.
It's leaking some stuff too.
But this is success of an entrepreneur. We've committed to this business, to this group that we're meeting every month on the last Thursday, virtually and in person for our members, and we're not playing around, and this podcast needs to happen. And we made this appointment 2 weeks ago. We're gonna fire off the podcast on January 5th, 2023, and we're gonna launch this mother effer. Pink eye or not. Anyway, so what are the things? The great thing is that, Zach is in the middle of transitioning from single family. So Zach's been an investor, what'd you say, 2007?
Bought my first one 2016.
2016.
Full time 2018.
All right. So 2016. And so he's been in single families for a while. And then he's like, I'm out. I'm getting out 100%. And so the reason why he's co-hosting, if you're asking those questions, and if you have questions, great, let us know, is he's going to bring to this podcast all the insights of what it's like to be on the other side of it. What is it like to be a single family investor or no investor at all? Never been an investor. And how do you get to commercial? And so he's going to be kind of that devil's advocate, you could say. Someone that's going to like, well, you said this, VanCauwenbergh, but I don't really understand that. And this is why. So that's another reason. And I can't wait for Crystal to come on. And so we're going to leave every episode. So we've made a commitment. And so let me dial this in on Advanced Investor Alliance. I want to read this out loud to you. This is on our website, advancedinvestoralliance.com. And this took 9 months to write this. I know this may sound dramatic to you, but this is something that I feel is my legacy. Savvy Investors is a great thing, but Savvy Investors is me. Savvy Landlord is me. If I died tomorrow, Savvy Podcast would end. Here's the great thing. If I died tomorrow, Advanced Investor Alliance is going to succeed without me, because our board of directors, which I said earlier, the folks that I introduced, are going to carry it on. And this is why we did this, is we all brought a different level of education. We all brought a different level of skill to the table, and we want to create something with you dynamically to make an impact on your life, to change your trajectory, and do very well financially through that process. And so we're going to read this. I'm going to read this to you. It's the Advanced Investor Alliance is a high quality support network of like-minded investors. We help investors achieve their full potential through the power of life-enhancing connections, shared experiences, and collaborative learning. I know that just sounds smooth, but that took us forever to encompass everything that we want in there. Like-minded people. We don't want wannabes. We want real committed people. This is not the cheapest group to be a part of. This is not a $100 a month group. This is someone that when you make this commitment and join this group, it's real. You're going to get a return. It says, the next line, the third sentence says, our high-level investor members are committed to learning and helping each other succeed. When you join this group with us, it is my goal for you to succeed. For example, we have some members out of state, and you're in the middle of an acquisition, and you need some due diligence. No problem. We're going to go there. We're going to support you. That's why we started with 5, and we hope that more members would see the vision and jump in. But the goal is I pay for this in a group in Houston, and they do these bus tours, and they go look at other people's properties and help them. That's what I want to do. That's what we want to do for you. We want to help you succeed in the arena of commercial real estate. It says Advanced Investor Alliance is a group of real estate entrepreneurs. That's me. Hopefully that's you. Born from a need to connect with like-minded investors that are needing to scale, network, and get unstuck. I don't know about you, but this is a very lonely little world when you are going to the next level, being a professional. I just received a text message yesterday from a friend, and I'm going to read this to you. Now, my friend's probably going to listen to this podcast, and he's probably going to be the only one on the planet that's going to read this, but this is what he said to me. And I actually posted this on Facebook. I just didn't say anyone's name. Bro, I went and met with a guy today that owns a bunch of businesses in real estate all over. He's got 13 nursing homes, and I was underdressed. I replied again. I just so you know, I've changed in my approach, and sometimes I get crazy, and sometimes I'm like witty. This is what I said. I said, get to the next level, be the next level. You have to act the next level. Who or what do you want to become? Then be that. And this really boils down, and give you some background. He goes, our conversation that we've had before about something else crossed my mind. And that conversation that he's talking about is about when you want to really truly get to the next level. And the people that I hang out with do $100 million developments. I can't roll up there in my Hawaiian shirt. Okay. I can't roll up there without slacks on. I'm not joking. The meetup that I go to, or this mastermind that I'm a part of, another commercial group, if I showed up there, I have a tattoo on my elbow. If I show up there, they're going to judge me. And if you want to make professional gains, you've got to be professional. And this guy that I'm speaking of wants to go to the next level. He wants to be in the commercial space. And I responded to him. He was reminding me about the conversation that him and I had. I said, be professional or lose the opportunity is my mind. I think to myself, and I'm speaking to myself, how many times that I cut the corner? I'm a millionaire now. I don't need to do this. I don't need to dress this way. I'm going to tell you guys right now, this last year, 2022, has been a life change year because I have to recycle my whole damn wardrobe. I mean, I have more dress shirts than I've ever owned in my entire life. I can't keep wearing the same damn slacks I keep wearing. I actually went to Men's Effing Warehouse the other day looking around like that's the worst store on the effing planet. I know some people are like Joseph Banks. I know some of you rich $1,000 suit guys out there. I'd rather spend $1,000 on a bike. But what I'm trying to tell you is be professional or lose the opportunity. And then I was like, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm attacking my friend. And I go, how bad do you want to succeed? Is it worth dressing up for? He goes, I'm getting there. I said, man, again, I go, mindset. You are what you want to become. It's your mind. And this is what this whole group is about. It's about this is a lonely thing. There's some people that have, needs to hear that. There's some folks that's like, listen, now, when you start talking to commercial people, and Zach has a lot of experience, I wonder how many commercial properties that you and I have visited. But when you're talking to a guy with an MBA who has gone to school just to be a commercial broker, it's a different language. It's a different persona. And I remember several conversations that Zach and I have. I had no idea what just happened. I don't even know what a white box is. Remember this. Is this remembrance? And so, we feel when we started this thing, about 9 months ago, we're like, hey, there's other people that feel this way. There's no one really authentically telling you this is how it is. And, or not trying to sell you a membership. We want you to be in, and you're going to have to qualify. And the qualification is filling out an application. And it's not about your net worth. It's not about where you come from. What's your level of commitment? How serious you are about learning. And it goes on and on and on from there. But here I'm going to finish this mission statement and move on. And then Zach, get ready because you're about to get on here. I've given you enough time. Advanced Investor Alliance is a monthly membership business dedicated to real estate investors needing to scale, get unstuck, and network. Our goal is, I'm telling you, the money that I have raised for people and for myself has always been through networking. An insurance question that I have has been resolved, or I need a new insurance broker, is all should be done. All these benefits should be in this scenario. Advanced Investor Alliance is born from a need to connect advanced investors in the community to a world of education and ways of scaling and diversifying your business. So it just so you know, it goes on from there. And I don't want this to be a sales pitch. Our goal for the Advanced Investor Alliance podcast is just to throw out tons of content, deals that we're doing, how we're doing them, and giving you enough information that it was worth your time to sit through this 20, 30-minute podcast. But the real value is being a member and coming to our monthly meetings. Inside this monthly meetings, you're going to get true education. Our goal is for every time we sit down on the third Thursday, the last Thursday of every month, is to leave there empowered that you learned something. That this was, oh yeah, I've heard that before. Yeah, or it's doom and gloom. Yeah, interest rates are going down or blah, blah, blah. No, and some regular group or some speaker. No, you're going to leave there. I didn't know that before, and now I do. Every time, if you have a deal, you're in the middle of a deal, we're going to do group deal analysis. What does that mean? That deal I got hammered on, if I didn't have those advisors, point people that genuinely trusted me, and I trust them, they're like, that's not a good deal. Russell Hunt, if you know him in Oklahoma City, that's his forte. I mean, the guy is so giving of his time and his energy. The building that I'm in right now, it wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for his advisement. That's our goal there, to work on every deal. Another thing is to network, to help each other. You need a new contractor? I got one. You need an introduction to a banker? I got one. You need someone that needs a loan? Well, we have that. We're going to have a private Facebook group. That's going to be an internal document. It might be a forum, not a document, but a place where we're going to constantly be growing on a regular basis. We're going to do weekly, monthly calls. You get all of our documents. Every document that I ever have done. Now, you're going to disclaimer here. We're not attorneys or advisors or guaranteeing anything. These are just documents that I have created on my own. You get those. And we're sharing documents, our systems, how I buy a property, how I finance a property, checklist, partnering on deals, advisement, accountability, on and on and on. So that's pretty much. And then we have a whole stockpile of content that we'll be sharing as we roll. So I know this seems like a very long-winded 31 minutes exactly podcast. All right, it's time for me to shut up. So I know this is our very first podcast, and hopefully that you will continue to step on this journey with us. And so, Zach, what are the other things that we're going to talk about here in the future?
Just basically helping people scale. There's nothing out there showing people or helping people get out of single family into commercial or bigger investments. It's all putting out fires.
Or like what you helped me with the other day. I mean, I just got a $1.1 million loan. I mean, I have borrowed millions of dollars in my lifetime, but when you brought that to my attention, you're like, a 1.1, how do you do that? That's what this is about, right? I mean, it's about how to, that's why I try to help you all the time. How do I get your portfolio cleaned up and prepared? How to give you financial statements that are really authentic. And I'm going to have Dave Torres on here. He called me the other day. I didn't tell you this, but Dave Torres in New Mexico, who's doing $3, $4 million, $10 million deals now, is one of my clients from a long time ago. And he just got a loan for several million. And he said the banker commented on his financial statement. And so he called me and said, that's your financial statement that you gave me 5 years ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this is about. And I think it's like, our goal here, and we're not trying to hype this up or tell you these things so you can join us, but that's what a real group does. It's like, hey, we're not going to charge you, hey, you need to pay for this form, or we're going to peddle this stuff to you. It's like, you need this information. It's going to empower your business, and it's going to benefit you, and hopefully that you're going to benefit me, and I'm trusting you with this information, that you're not going to turn around and sue me because, I forgot a line on the document, which... that's happened to me before. I've forgotten a line on a document, but that's the goal. We're going to cover, what else we're going to cover? Man, you're going to have to get your practice and your skills in on a podcast.
I'm trying to figure it. Due diligence.
Due diligence.
That's going to help people do diligence on their deals.
Yeah, Michael McClure that's our next, hopefully our next episode, but he's, we have a whole schedule going on here, and he's our next one that's coming up pretty short within the next couple weeks on what's his process of due diligence, which is really cool. And all this stuff is birthed out of our original class that we took a year ago. But the way I do my due diligence, some people think it's cool. That was one of the comments that happened in the class is like, Stephen, I love the way how you analyze the deal. Well, I'm telling you right now, I'm the most uneducated people because I'm just doing what I think I would do. But it was interesting hanging out with Michael one day, and the way he does due diligence is way, I mean, we don't even do the same thing. Like his data and my data are totally different. We arrived at the same decision, but his approach is like way nutty. This dude does like satellite photos. Like as soon as he gets the damn address, he gets a satellite photo and he looks up the HVAC from the satellite.
Roof, parking lot.
Yeah, he's already got a budget. I'm like, I'm that old school. All right, let's go look at the property. Well, I don't really do that anymore, but you know what I used, my approach on a due diligence, and I can't wait to host that class, that podcast with Michael McClure. It's going to be fire because you're going to get some nuggets. So if you didn't like this episode, that's okay. We're going to bring some more episodes for you to crush it. What else? Damn, dude, you got to get better at this shit.
It's my first time. I'm an introvert, and this is out of my comfort zone. That's what it takes
and here's the thing.
To move up. You got to get out of your comfort zone.
Exactly. See, even that simple principle. And, him and Zach and I had lunch today, and he mentioned just... it's too easy. There's some people in this world that never grow because it's easy. And I was like, that's when you need to know you're doing something wrong. And if you're at that point in your single family that it's just too easy, there's nothing wrong. A lot of people have brainwashed real estate investors that, okay, start off with single family, do 10 units with FNMA money and then get to a commercial loan and then do... No, it doesn't have to be that way. You could start right into commercial. And honestly, it's super cool because when you really are a real player in the commercial industry, commercial real estate, there's people that come straight out of college, come straight out of master school, or get their master's degree, and they're brokers. They've never done a deal in their life, and they're in commercial. It's like another level of mentality. So, the old train of thinking, you should, start slow and then run. There's a wonderful book out there by Robert Ringer it's called Winning Through Intimidation. And if you're a really rookie real estate person, this is a great book for you to read. And he mentions in there, they're called the leapfrog effect. He was in real estate, and he's like, he just said, I'm going to start brokering out. This baller starts brokering out apartment buildings from around the country, from California to New Jersey to Florida. He just started brokering out. He would find a distressed builder that couldn't finish a project and found a hungry money investor, and put the two together and made money. It's a wonderful book. I definitely recommend it for you, especially if you want to go to the next level. You need to get this little piece of education inside of you, because when you read this book, it's a mindset that you must adopt if you're going to do well in commercial real estate. People, a lot of cliches are, it's just one more zero. It really is. But it takes about 3 to 5 deals to really accept the fact that it's numbing. When I closed this acquisition the other day, and that $1 million loan was no big deal. I didn't even want to show up the closing. That's like my $30,000 deal, 10 years ago. After you do about 100 of them, it's no big deal. But in the commercial, it's intimidating. And for you to overcome this hurdle, this wall, this mental mindset, this is a great book for you to read. And why is it called Winning Through Intimidation? Great question. I know you're thinking that, right? Well, the reason why it's called that, because he would get burned. This distressed, greedy developer would try to cut him out. And after he introduced the potential investor to purchase this distressed, discounted property, and he would get cut out. Well, it's a really great story of how to lawyer up. And when you get into commercial real estate, and we're going to cover this in depth in the future, you got to have the right people on your team. You got to have an attorney on your team. We're going to have an attorney here. Kendra is going to come on, and you're just going to be amazed. And he lawyered up, and everywhere this dude goes, and every transaction, he brings his attorney. And that's where the title came from, Winning Through Intimidation. It's not intimidating people to get what you want. It's about having a position. And that's another thing that we're going to talk about. How is your posture in a transaction, in a real estate deal? What's your position? What's your posture? How are you being portrayed to the seller? And that boils down to your level of negotiations. You can get deep discounts on how you handle your posture in the game of commercial. It's not the little split the difference book, and which is a very powerful book, but it's just how you deliver it, how professional you are. And, they already assume that you should close because you couldn't get into commercial. If you can't close, you can't get into commercial. You have to already have a track record of sorts because they're going to vet you out. That's the interesting thing. We're going to cover that a lot in depth. Like, how do I even get started? How do I get a broker to work for me? How do I get the same broker that's doing $100 million transaction want to work with me on my little $250,000 acquisition? That will be a podcast that we have coming up. There's going to be a wealth of information. So I don't want to let all the cat out of the bag, I guess. Or the cliche.
Sounded good.
Yeah, this, hey, we're figuring this out. I really appreciate you lasting this long. If you made it this far, you probably hung up by now or turned it off or turned on Taylor Swift because she has the most downloads on the planet. Just, FYI, I have a 13-year-old that likes.
Interesting.
Right. Well, anyway, that's it, guys. Anyway, until the next time, if you want to know more information and more podcasts that we're going to continue to post up on our website, which is alliance.com.
Wrong. It's advanced.
Advanced.
InvestorAlliance.com.
I know. I just want to see if I could.
I'm still awake.
Yeah, if you're, because you haven't said much. A
little nerve-wracking.
Why is it nerve-wracking?
Out of my comfort zone.
That's it. The way to succeed is get out of your comfort zone.
Got to jump in.
You got to get it all in. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.